But, yeah, it's really basic stuff. I guess if you're, like, starting out with horror, sure, check it out. But at the same time, you probably shouldn't, because they give it away in the trailer what happens. Like, the little girl, like, rubs her arm across the wall. That's literally how it ends. She's the one who kills everybody and covers the walls with her blood. So, there, you've seen the movie. You're welcome. I just saved you 2 booble showers.
There is, like, 2 things, though, and they kind of tie into the ending, so sorry, spoilers.
Well, we've already passed that line.
Yeah. We were beyond that.
Well, I know that already. But, yeah, 2 things I was wondering, because eventually it is revealed that through the mythos of the boogie creature, they say that, you know, anyone who sees the image, you know, kind of like opens this portal that allows him to go into the real world and thus, you know, snatch the person who was watching the footage. And usually the person who is most susceptible to it is a child. Hence why all those children went missing. But the thing is, like, when they show footage of it, because that's clearly what he uses to, like, get into our world, like, they soon reveal, like, after the guys send, like, the extended cut showing that the kids were... yeah, there's an extended cut.
Yeah, what happens is for some idiotic reason, because we've said he's a moron, he takes the whole movies and burns it.
Well, this is at the point where he feels like he's in too deep. He wants to get the fuck out, and he doesn't want to have any more to do with this.
Yeah, but instead of sending this to someone who could actually figure it out, he burns it.
Like the police?
Yeah, and runs away. But then the box comes back, of course, but instead of, not only is there the whole movies, but there's the extended footage.
The lost footage.
Yeah, as you said, the DVD menu practically writes itself.
Yeah, I was hoping for another, like, it comes in a little envelope that says extended movie stuff. I was really hoping there would be another photo that said bloopers.
That would be fun.
That would have been great.
You even I remember you mentioned it's like, there's probably commentary on this. I'm just like, wait, how do you do commentary on a Super 8?
How did they make a Super 8 film in 2012?
That is a good question.
Point taken.
That's a very good question.
But yeah, I was going to say, like, they revealed through the extended cut, because up to that point you think it's the boogie creature that had been killing the families and then, you know, kidnapping the kids. But no, it turns out it's the kids that went missing are the ones that killed their families. And here's the interesting thing, the way they show the murders happening is, first there's footage of the family being happy, gathering together in the area where they're about to be killed, and then the next you see is them getting
like
killed.
Tied up, yeah.
And the extended,
they're always tied up.
And and the extended cut, you see that, you know, it's obviously done from, like, the killer's point of view, and then they show the kids walking into the shot after they set up the camera and everything. But here's the thing, who took the footage before they were killed? Like,
you did!
I mean, did the boogie character, like, just grab the camera and just started filming and then
Did they have a tripod? Did they have a tripod?
But then...
Well, it's all up to interpretation, I think.
It's the same people who filmed it when he was up in the attic. You remember, all alone? It's ghost logic bullshit, whatever.
I guess.
I mean, since the projector seems to keep coming back, even though it's destroyed and all the movies come back and everything, it's arguably that the projector is a ghost itself, and therefore it could have been materialized.
So there's just a floating camera just hovering around people's houses.
Why not? That, or it could have been the children
filming themselves with their families.
I don't know.
Touche.
But then that leads to another thing. When you find out that it is the kids that are the murderers, I mean, you're sort of thinking that, okay, maybe the guy has been possessing each of them, and then once, you know, he's done in their families, he then keeps them for himself to basically sustain off of. But then you see the girl, his daughter, becomes possessed at the end and kills off her family. But she seems to be normal, though. She doesn't have, like, that dead-eyed look like someone possessed. You know, she doesn't act... She doesn't look monstrous or anything. She just talks normal.
She's like that...
I thought she looked a little weird.
I was waiting for her to do something like in...
Maybe have her head spin
I can't believe I'm bringing this up, and I apologize to Gigi in advance. Like in Signs, where that little girl's like, Daddy, there's a monster in my bedroom. Can I get a glass of water? I was waiting for a moment like that.
Well, that definitely would have been the movie more.
Well, wasn't there that one moment where she went to the bathroom?
Yeah, but it's not the same.
Oh.
Whatever.
Yeah, but that kind of, like, like that kind of like I'm wondering though, because were the kids all possessed by the guy? That's what caused them to kill their families, or
Yeah.
did he just exploit some sort of like inner resentment that they must have had toward their families, which caused them to basically act on impulse and kill them?
I think he possessed them.
I think so too. I think it's
also like I said before. This was not on camera. Like you don't when you see the footage being filmed of the killing and stuff like that, and then you find out it's kids. They had to have been possessed because no kid could perform such feats of strength like that. Like the whole family hanging off a tree. No kid could pull that off, no pun intended, by themselves. Or the drowning one where they're all tied up and they had to pull them into the pool. No kid could do that alone. They had to have been possessed with some super demon strength or something.
I guess, or the boogie character must have helped them or something, but
Maybe.
They seem to be conscious of what they were doing though, because you see them basically playing around, the one girl who hung her family swinging on her dad's leg, they go up to the camera and they're like, shh.
Yeah, they all
it's
do that.
They know what they did and they don't want anyone knowing about it. So I'm just wondering, because the thing is, throughout the movie, you see that the daughter, the one who got possessed at the end, you obviously, the examples of the resentment she harbors toward her father, and I guess her family as a result, because, she's forced to move out of her home, leave her school, all for the sake of her dad's work. Her dad doesn't really pay attention to her. She makes him his cup of coffee, but then he just grabs it and shuts the door right in her face. So there's a lot of examples throughout the movie, saying that, hey, maybe, she really does harbor resentment toward him to the point where she probably would kill him, if her sense of decency wasn't there, which is probably removed by the boogie character. And then, of course, she's taken into the other world to join the rest of the kids.
I have a question though. They said that in order for the boogie man to possess you, you had to have seen the footage.
or
He was the
not
only one who saw-
not necessarily the footage, the image.
Yeah,
Like,
remember the
image of
girl
them.
drew that the picture of her family being hanged on the girl's wall? She saw the image, so that was probably the thing that
I
turned her.
guess. I don't know. It's just
So
It's
that's
just so
my
boring.
theory.
Well, I mean, and also the kid was the son was having night terrors all the time.
they sort of
They did that.
tricked
kind
you
of
They
with
did that.
fizzled that
Yeah,
out.
there's
They
two
did that to
kids.
throw everybody off.
There's two
But-
kids. There's a son and a daughter, and you think the son's the one that's going to get possessed because he's, like you said, he's having night terrors. And if you've seen the trailer, he's the one that comes out of the box going, "Wah!" which is in the first 10 minutes. But no, it's the sort of the more normal one.
The quiet one.
Plot twist.
I'm curious though. I must have missed it or something. That part where she does kill her family by basically chopping them to bits with an axe. What in the movie indicated that she would do that? Because she said a line to her father right before she killed him that I think was a fortune.
I'll make you famous again, Daddy.
Oh, okay.
That's a good line too.
That is
And
actually that is a
didn't-
good
She
one.
picks up the axe and the camera.
Now, didn't he say he? Well, this sort of is it is and it isn't what going along with what he said. But a lot of the time, you see Ethan Hawke's character watching his past interviews, like when he did the movie. What is it? Kentucky Blood.
For the book he wrote
Yeah.
called Kentucky Blood, which is the stupidest name I've ever heard.
But basically, he
Kentucky
said. I think he
bourbon.
says this
Now
line.
blood
It's like.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
He says this line about he'd rather have his hands chopped off than to
Yeah.
have the money, something about that.
Foreshadowing.
I mean, I guess it sort of goes along with the ending, but at the same time, it's the head gets chopped off, not his hands.
Well,
or
actually,
maybe
well,
his hands
No,
did get
we don't
chopped
know it
off.
gets
We
chopped
don't
off.
know.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
actually, no. When they draw the thing in the box, they show that's it's different parts of the body
Yeah, it
gets
was all
chopped off.
dismembered, so
They
maybe.
just-
I was wondering because they showed that with all the other kids, like the girl who would play on her tire swing, she ended up hanging her family from the same tree, or the kid that would play in the swimming pool, he drowned his family in that pool. So there's always a connection between the regular footage and then
And then the
death.
daughter at the end, she takes the blood after chopping
And
them to
makes
bits and
paintings.
Yeah,
House painting!
because she wasn't allowed to paint on any other walls besides her own. So
She chops
Again,
them to
that
bits and
kind of
paints all over the
supports my
walls.
theory that she did this of her own.
it's possible. I mean, I really don't know. It's all ambiguous.
And of course, they pretty much reveal. By the time you've already kind of figured this out, but they eventually revealed that everybody who was a victim had moved from the last house that
the previous
victims had been murdered.
I actually kind of like that.
Yeah.
That's actually an interesting twist. But Kentucky Blood is the stupidest name ever! It is. It sounds like, I don't know, like a gritty undercover story of what really goes on at KFC. It's a stupid name. And love, all of his names for his books were awful. Like, there was Kentucky Blood, and there was one called Blood Diner, which I'm pretty sure is actually a real movie. It's like an 80s slasher. And he had, like, what was the other one? Vermont Blood or something? He had, like, really stupid names.
I don't know.
I don't remember. They didn't stick.
And they're all wondering, like, why aren't you more famous? And it's like, well, because your book titles are stupid.
Seriously.
Kentucky Blood.
Yeah, the main character was just stupid. He should, as soon as he saw that footage, he should have sent it right to the police. Be like, look, here's your footage. Analyze it. Figure out who did the crimes and everything.
You know, actually, I was, when he first does see the footage, he actually does try to call the cops. And I was sort of hoping that he doesn't, of course, like, he hangs up, because, duh. But I was hoping that if he did give it to them, what if, like, they showed the footage and that part, like, with them being dead wasn't there? Wouldn't that have been cool? Like, it just shows them, like, being at their barbecue and hanging out, and then...
See, we're already rewriting the script already, and already it sounds better.
Or, like, he's the only one who sees the dead footage.
Or he brings the box and there's nothing in it.
Yeah. Or except more scorpions.
Or there's no box.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, there's no box. See, we're already coming up with better ideas.
There's no box, no scorpion, no snake, no dog.
Yeah, there was a dog.
Yeah.
No, instead, again, they rely on the stupidity factor. You know, it's like, let's make this character so greedy that, you know, he doesn't do the reasonable thing by, you know, sending evidence to the police in order to solve these grisly murders.
Well, also, I mean, yes, you're right, but at the same time, he probably wouldn't have done it anyway because, you know, in the first 5 minutes, the sheriff comes by and, you know, bugs him and stuff. So it's well established that he even says, like, you know, the cops aren't going to help you with stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that one deputy ended up helping him, and then
Deputy so-and-so.
Yes, Deputy so-and-so helped him.
yeah, the you know, the typical stupid cop.
Comic relief?
I guess.
Awkward comic relief.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of fluctuates in between. But yeah, it's basically established that he is an idiot because, you know, every horror movie has to have a stupid cop.
But at the same time, he's smart because near the like
That's what I said.
One of his later scenes when he comes over in a horribly lit scene, by the way. That for some reason they're all like this.
Yeah, they
you
keep
can't
like
see shit.
Yeah, they keep putting him in shadow like just almost every scene he's in.
so
It's
anyway,
like, it's very poor symbolism. They're just trying to say, like he's always in the... Like,
he's always kept in the dark.
So anyway,
But if you're in, like, this, it's like...
No,
that's
even
just
darker.
Oh, yeah, even darker.
Like you can't even see his face at all.
Dark. You're in the darkness.
Okay, that's enough of that.